Hello, fellow explorers. What is coming for you in this upcoming week? What can you expect in the next week to meet you, and how can you meet it by stepping your best foot forward? Let's go ahead and jump into this weekly tarot pick-a-card reading and find out. Hello, fellow explorers. Welcome to the Mystic Lemur. My name is Rita, and it is my honor to be your guide through the messages of this reading this week. So today we are looking at the energies of the week ahead, what is coming for us, how can we best meet what's coming, and step into it with our best foot forward to get the best outcome we can achieve to align ourselves with our higher being and with our higher purpose. There are timeless elements to this reading, so whenever this video finds you, do please honor the impulse that drove you towards selecting this message, and do please be open to whatever messages are finding you. And as always, there will be different messages for different folks. The messages will resonate in different ways, depending on where you are in your particular being right now, so always know that your inner being and your inner guidance, your inner discernment will be your best guide. That said, the energy of the reading at the moment is being offered in the powerful full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer at the beginning of January 2020. That's the 11th for me here of January, so 111. For others, it will be 0110. So the 10th of January. So that 11 energy, that spiritual manifestation. So the 11 in numerology is a master number that's all about spirit. How are you bringing forth your spiritual gifts? What are the spiritual lessons? And along with that, what are the karmic lessons? What are the dharma and the karma that's being evoked in this time? And immediately after this full moon lunar eclipse, the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto is coming up as well, which is bringing up tons of karma from the past decade, from the past 500 years. We haven't had a conjunction of Saturn and Pluto quite like this for the past 500 years. So paradigm shifting, energy shifting. If you have been praying for a revolution, if you have been praying for something to release, now's the time to do it. The energies are supporting you. So for the first part of this reading, we will do the collective energies for the week ahead. And then we will look at more targeted questions, more targeted answers for specific people through the pick a card. So getting into the collective reading for the coming week. What is coming for us in this week where we are being asked to step into emotional shifts, inner shifts, releasing karma, releasing our path towards our higher selves. What's happening for us in the next week? What's going to be coming for us in the beginning of the week? We have the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, this is all about being that father figure, that king of your own life, being that it's in the Pentacles domain. It's all about the physical experience, so being a provider in terms of money, in terms of financial support, in terms of physical support. Also, given that the timing of this reading is in Capricorn season, there is a huge amount of energy happening in Capricorn right now. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so this could very well be indicating some Saturn element coming into things. Saturn is the ruler of karma. So whatever is physically manifesting itself in your life at the beginning of the week with that conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, something big is coming up relevant to the restrictions that you've been giving yourself in the financial, physical domain, and how you're being asked to release from them. What else is coming for us at the beginning of the week? We have the world in reverse. Yep. All right, so the world, this is the energy of archetypes. This is big stuff, not just, the things that come up and go in our lives, but universal forces at play. This is the world, so coming to completions of cycles, also a card ruled by Saturn. So again, Saturn's influence is being very strong in the beginning of the week. Coming up in reverse, we are being asked to release those things that Saturn has been restricting us from. So the House of Capricorn, all about authority, about institutional structures, about tradition, about money and about being in power. So we're being asked to reevaluate the power structures in our lives, the structures in our lives, what is serving us, what is no longer serving us. And for those things that are no longer serving us, being ready to step up to the change that is needed to let those go. So that's definitely the flavor of the beginning of the week, all of that Saturn-Pluto conjunction energy, letting that go. So what's coming for us in the middle of the week? What's coming for us in the middle of this upcoming week ahead? We have the Knave of Chalices in reverse. All right, so the Knave of Chalices, or the Page of Cups, is all about taking a new direction in your emotional energy. So this could be relevant to whatever's coming up in this Cancer full moon in lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipses, they all bring up internal processes that need to be brought into the light. They shine a light on the internal. And with Cancer, it's all about emotions. It's about how you've been nourishing yourself, how you've been taking care of yourself or people around you, how you've been nurturing motherly, it's got mother energy, and it's also about the household. So things that are happening within the family, within the household. Coming up in reverse, this may be an indication to look to how you are experiencing the reverberations of this lunar eclipse, which will be active for the energies of this eclipse have started weeks, sometimes months in advance, and we could be feeling this for another 6 months yet. It really just depends on how this moon falls in your chart, so you'd have to look that up. I would recommend, if you're so inclined, finding a skilled astrologer to help you with that. But it could be something with whatever your moon placement is and how it's being activated by this full moon lunar eclipse, asking you to think about how you've been directing your nurturing emotional energies towards yourself. So have you been nurturing yourself? The time to look to reflect on that inner emotional balance and how you may be being asked to take a new direction with your emotions as you direct them internally before you bother directing them externally, coming for you in the middle of the week. What else is coming for us in the middle of the week? We have the Six of Chalices in reverse. Yep, so still a ton of that emotional energy. Six of Chalices is a card that's all about friendship. It's all about, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the imagery is of two children who are sharing a cup together. So friendship, sharing, and I also get very strong inner child vibes here. So specifically with this card, I see a lot of, child energy. So it could be that you are being asked to consider your inner child, or if you have actual living children in your life. If you are trying to bring about, if one of your goals for 2020 is to bring about a family, having it come up in reverse. If you're pushing too hard on something, so again, I'm going to step back for a moment. With the full moon lunar eclipse, the emotional energies that are coming up, cups, all about emotions, could be to do with how you need to be nurturing your inner child. You're seeing the wounds of your inner child, and you're seeing how you need to address them, and you're seeing how you need to be brave in addressing them, because these are not easy things. Wounds are the openings through which light enters us. So just because it's hard, just because it feels intense, just because it feels like a lot to take on, it doesn't mean that the work is not worth it. It just means that you might need to be patient and gentle and nurturing with yourself in this process. This could also be indicating to some people who are trying to manifest a family in 2020. Maybe you have some very particular timelines that you're trying to get things done on. And this coming up in reverse could be saying that your sort of planning, structuring energy of your life is blocking the way that it's supposed to be coming into your life. So release the plans, release the grip on how things have to go, release the attempt to control how things have to go in your family, how you create your family. Let it be what it is, enjoy it for what it is, and let that truth shine forward to bring you where you need to really be. So what's coming for us at the end of the week in this collective conscious energy reading? What's coming us for the end of the week? We have the Sun in reverse. So lots of reversed energy this week. So again, another thing to be said, for right around the time after this eclipse, there's been many planets in retrograde. They've been sort of blocking our ability to operate in a way that feels easy and flowing with the energies of those planets. There's one planet in particular that will be going back into its forward motion. I believe it's Neptune. And that's all about Aquarius energy revolution. It's either Neptune or Uranus. So again, I'm not an astrologer, I'm a tarot reader, but tarot operates on the energies of astrology. So check in with a qualified astrologer to know more explicitly how it's going to be working for you. But with the sun in retrograde, it's also in this space of where this Saturn-Pluto conjunction is happening, because we're in Capricorn season. It's happening in the sign of Capricorn. With this particular card, I get both the energies of twins, so this could be an indication of a deep soul connection. There's maybe some karmic relationships of people in your life that are being illuminated and being brought up for processing. We also have this imagery of the sun itself, looks like this glowing white golden orb. Reminds me, if you're interested in films, one of my favorite films about these esoteric topics, it's not overtly esoteric, but it's real, like, it can hit you in just the right way if you're open to it. The Fountain. This looks to me a lot like Xibalba. And that is the star, the dying star in a nebula. That is the underworld for the Maya. It's all about going into this space of stepping into allowing the end of something to come so that you can be reborn. Phoenix rising out of the ashes. Don't hold on to the thing that isn't working anymore. Don't hold on to the thing that is dying. Let that go. Like if you've ever been around plants, and it actually serves plants very well if they have leaves that are withering, that are falling off, that are turning yellow, turning brown. It doesn't serve them for you as their human companion to keep those, like, you wouldn't want to paste a leaf that's fallen off a plant back onto it. That's not going to serve that. You certainly wouldn't want to just like keep that dying leaf on. The better thing to do is to cut it off. Cut it off so that the energy that's remaining in the plant can flow to the things that are working, and let that grow. It's coming up in reverse at the end of the week. Again, there might be some deep karmic relationships that are coming to the light, that have been brought into the light through this lunar eclipse, through this conjunction. And coming up in reverse, you're really being asked to turn inward to find the inner light within yourself. If it's coming up in reverse, this could be that you are tempted to block this connection with source, this connection with this letting things go, letting things move on. A big blockage that might be coming up is through fear. Change is scary, and there's been a lot of discussion about scary things that are happening in the world right now. But our job is not to stick to what is observed. Our job is to lead by our vision, not by our vision of what we see in the manifested reality, but our vision for how things can be better, and live that change. Be the change that you want to see. So step forward into this new day, step forward into this light at the end of the tunnel by nourishing that inner child. And what is also coming for us, one last message of what's coming for us at the end of the week, this upcoming week, we have the High Priestess in reverse. Yep. So the High Priestess, this is the energy of seeing into the unseen, seeing between the dualities. So she sits between the yin, the yin, so the more female, the dark energy, the energy of reception rather than projection, the energy of, if you've done any yin yoga, this is more about sitting into longer held postures that really dive deep into the fascia of the muscles, really stretching out the fibers of the muscles in a much deeper way than you can get through the more yang, the more active, fiery practice. We also have the moon here, so again, a lot of that lunar moon influence. The moon is also ruled by Cancer, so a lot of that emotional resonance still pulling through for the rest of the week. Coming up in reverse, again, this could be that you're still in a space where you're not quite wanting to allow this to happen. It's really a big challenge to you to step into this. Also coming in reverse, all of these reverse cards could be indicating that this is happening internally for you, which is again another element of that lunar eclipse. The changes that you're being asked to embrace are internal first. Start from the inside, start from you, and then move outward. Remove the log from your own eye before you try to remove the splinter from someone else's. Really do the inner work first before you try to do anything with the outside world. So those are the energies for the upcoming week ahead. Lots of shifting, lots of changes, and lots of old cycles being brought to the light to be renewed. So with that collective reading on our radar, let's go ahead and jump into the more directed pick a card readings to see more specific messages for different groups, different people. All right, stepping into the more directed pick a pile cards. For our week ahead, we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. That's pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So in order to help us let that inner being step forward, our inner knowing step forward, let's go ahead and begin to ground into our being, let our minds, bodies, spirits, energies settle in to be in alignment together, to let that intuitive knowing step forward to receive these messages. So, finding your comfortable seated position, you may be into a chair, maybe on the floor, anywhere where you can begin to imagine roots growing deep into Mother Earth beneath you, roots shooting forth from your feet, from your legs, from your sits bones, growing deep down, deep into the Mother Earth, like the umbilical cord that connects you with Mother Earth, finding that nourishing energy, connecting with the love and nourishment, nurturing from Mother Earth, pulling that up through those roots into your body, shooting it out through your stacked spine, all the way out, shining it through the crown of your head, and letting it grow forth, bloom forth through your heart chakra as you open your heart to the messages. Finding our 3 rounds of mindful breath to help focus in on the messages for us this week, beginning with the big belly breath in, and exhale. Belly breath in, and exhale. One last big belly breath in, and exhale to release. Honing in now on the messages that come forth to you through the pile or piles that speak to you. If you feel you need a few more moments to let that knowing step forward, do please pause the video here. Otherwise, we will jump into pile number 1. Okay, pile number 1, what's coming for you in the next week ahead, and how can you best step forward to meet it, to get your highest, best outcome in alignment with your highest self? So how are you showing up in the next week, group number 1? What's the energy around how your being is being activated in the next week? We have the King of Swords. All right, so you are very much in the space of your mind, but you're doing so in a way that is completely in control of how you're directing your mental energies. The King is, again, as came up with the King of Pentacles in the collective reading. You're here in a space where you are choosing how you think, and you're choosing how to do so in a way that is supportive and protective of everyone else around you. And so in this particular card, we've got a lot of this green energy here, so doing so in a way that's very loving, connected with the heart. And we see the imagery, first of all, this sword is very phallic, so again, lots of masculine energy coming through. But he's leaning on the sword, he's not standing up, and he's not ready to go into the fight like the Knight of Swords. He's just sitting in careful observation. This card reminds me a lot of the energy of the Hindu god Shiva, who is the god of yoga, so it could be an indication to do some work by aligning your mind with your body and your breath through some yoga practice this week. Might also be, again, this energy of the things coming up to be replaced, removed, and regenerated with something new. Shiva's all about that. So destruction and creation, creation and destruction, those all fall under his purview. But again, doing so in a way that's much more agentic, doing the action rather than just receiving things. What are the lessons you're being faced with this week? Group number 1, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So you're you're very much in a space where you're leveling up your mind this week, group number 1. You got 2 court cards in the suit of swords. So the Queen of Swords, she's the female equivalent of the King of Swords. So could be the female equivalent of Shiva is Durga, or Kali Ma, or Parvati. In her angry state, she's Durga, Kali, that angry, scary part of purging energy in Mother Nature. But when she's in her more nurturing state, she's more Parvati, she's love, she's the loving part of Mother Earth. So that divine feminine energy. Coming up in reverse, this could be again that Kali Ma, or that more removing energy of removing those things that don't serve you in the mental domain. The Queen of Swords in reverse is also that like cold, distant, difficult, bitter woman. Like things that are being emerged for you, being brought up for you in this lunar eclipse. Memories of wounds that give you the impulse to keep people at a distance. They don't touch me, you know? So the lesson being learned here is to you're stepping up into observing your mental states right now, because he's in a space of observation. He's not acting, he's observing. Be the observer for what comes up for you this week, be it positive or negative. And the lesson being learned, release this need to control your mind, release this need to be distant. This trigger that you might be getting in this week would be to want to shut people out and be that cold, distant person. Don't do that. Or that might be the challenge that's being evoked for you. So what are the unseen energies that are supporting you in this upcoming week? Group number 1, we have strength. Huge. Yes, of course. I mean, falling well in line with what I've been saying already. So we've got the purple energy here of the third eye and to the crown. So really using your insight, looking beyond what is directly observable, stepping into your more aligned part of your mind. So not letting your mind rule you, but bringing your mind into alignment with the rest of your higher path. And strength card, number 11, this reading is being offered on the 11th of January, stepping into that spiritual energy and that master number 11 energy. If you have master number 11 somewhere in your numerological chart, this could be another indication that this is the reading for you, or you really need to be paying attention to this reading. Strength, this is all about, stepping into your power. Another part of how this card rises, this is the card that evokes the goddess Durga. Durga is depicted as riding a lion. So again, using that energy of that purging force of your mind to be the observer of the things that come up without attaching to them, letting go of the things that make you want to be distant from people, and pulling in that Durga, that cleansing. I'm no longer stepping into these things that are no longer functioning for me, these things that are presenting themselves as evil. I mean, evil is I don't really believe in good or bad. Evil and good, it's all a matter of lessons being learned. But those things that are not working for you anymore, that if you hung on to them, they would become evil in your life, Durga says no. So Durga is here to support you in letting go of those things, shedding those leaves that aren't working for you anymore, so you're not stuck in this space of dysfunction. Finally, the outcome for you on your current trajectory, group number 1, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is a card that's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter in its exalted, or its benefic state, it's a generally benefic planet, is all about good luck and expansion. Coming up in upright position at the sort of outcome for your week, you're being supported in taking that spin of the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is supporting you. The Wheel of Karma is playing out, and you are in a space where you can be this monkey here. So, right? King of Swords. He's sitting at the top of this wheel. He's no longer riding the wheel. He's no longer subject to the wheel. He's just sitting atop it, letting it spin beneath him. In the space of mindfulness practice, it's not attaching to the roller coaster of the emotions as they go up and down and up and down. It's just letting it ride, sort of like surfing on a wave. You just let your emotions flow without trying to control them, without trying to direct them, just letting them take their course without letting them take you with them. You ride it, you don't you're riding that energy. You're not being ridden by it. Right. So what can we offer you, group number 1, for some further insight into how you can really step forward into this next week to get your best outcomes? So what is one way that you can really direct your own energy to be the best you can be in the next week? Group number 1, we have the Tower in reverse. Yep, breakthroughs. That's what I'm seeing here. The Tower is all about sudden and possibly catastrophic change. This conjunction of Saturn and Pluto invites that to the nth degree. Huge things are shifting, huge things are changing, and change can be scary. Coming up in reverse, you're being asked with this pairing of this King of Swords. The imagery of this card here, we have a fairly firm foundation. It's not that the root of this tower is wrong. It's not that this root was poorly built. So taking a step back, maybe it feels like a diversion, but follow me here, we'll get somewhere. When we have periods of challenge, these periods of challenge are to check our progress, to check our learning, because it would not serve anyone to allow us to continue with without a fully integrated foundation. So say that we're building this tower, and we're laying brick by brick by brick. Each brick is another lesson, and we integrate the lesson as the brick it fully forms, as the mortar sets. So if you try to build this too fast, if you try to build this before the mortar has completely set, if you try to build this before the foundation is stable, then it will crumble. And that's more of like the traditional Rider-Waite imagery of the tower crumbling from a poor foundation. But here, the Tower card in this deck is more about a mental block being lifted, this strike of insight. So maybe that you're getting downloads this week, maybe that, again, with this observation, you're really tuning into something through the upper chakras, so the crown, the third eye. Could be you're opening your third eye, opening your crown, opening your throat. These are all the more spiritually directed and even higher layers of chakras that you might be having some downloads, some rays of light coming to activate those. Different messages for different people. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Coming up in reverse, again, whatever sort of like epiphany or tower moment, great feeling, catastrophic change is coming up for you in this week. You're being asked to release it, to move on from it. Don't get stuck in the tower. The tower is here to serve you, and don't be afraid of the tower. This is one of the scarier cards in the deck, no lie. But coming up in reverse, and with this Wheel of Fortune is supporting you, group number 1, you can make this change. This change can happen for you, but you have to choose it. All right, what are some additional layers of this lesson you're being faced with, and how can you best step up to integrate it so that you have that firm foundation, so that you can have that epiphany and move forward with it? We have 4 of Swords in reverse. So wow, yeah, huge synchronicity here. So look at the similarity of the imagery in these cards. First of all, again, all of the Swords energy. Huge week for how you're dealing with your mind right now, group number 1. So this Queen of Swords coming up in reverse, letting go of that energy that makes you want to stay distant, stay cold. 4 of Swords upright is all about taking a mental break, taking a mental step back. This particular imagery, we have this woman dressed all in black sitting on this sarcophagus, so where a dead body would lie. So letting go, letting the thoughts that no longer serve you come to their final rest, coming to their final release. So coming up in reverse, this may mean that, again, the challenge, the way that you need to be integrating this is turning that quiet of your mind towards yourself. Really stepping into that quiet of your mind, or you might be challenged that you are really, once you come into that space of observation, once you come into that space where you're trying to sit with your mind, the monkey mind runs. You get that chatter, and it feels like all of this anxiety is bubbling up. So the way that you're going to be really pushed to integrate this, group number 1, is to sit in that quiet and not be afraid of it. Let what comes come. Don't try to force it. Don't try to control it. Just let the wheel spin. Don't attach to it. What are some unseen forces that you can call your attention to, group number 1, to really help you through this time, to really spark through gaining the most out of this week? We have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles, again, I do have some similar imagery here. This now we have a red sky. So we, with the lessons or the support of this calling into your inner power through your insight, we have that third eye and crown purple energy. Here we've got the red and the purple. So red evokes the root chakra, the Muladhara. That's all about grounding back into Mother Earth. Pentacles energy, very earthy. And the Knight of Pentacles is all about service. So how is your physical world serving you? Making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And he's also a planner, right? So one of the things about planning is if you're planning in a way that is like doing manifestation work, that can be very supportive. But if you're planning in a way where you're trying to grip, where you're trying to control, that can really block a lot of things. So that might be what you're being challenged with in this, being asked to let your mind float a bit. Let go of trying to control and use your mind too much to exert too much control over your life. This Knight of Pentacles here is asking you to take whatever insight, whatever mental energy is bubbling up. Don't stay stuck in your mind. Come back to your body, come back to your breath, come back to the roots. Go spend in time in earth, making sure that you're connecting the crown and the third eye to the root chakra all the way down, rooting down that energy into earth, staying connected. And what is the best advice we can give to you, group number 1, for how to meet this next week with your best foot forward? We have the Queen of Wands. So huge, yeah, we've got like all major arcana and court cards. So this is a very big week for you, group number 1. Queen of Wands being, again, this is a female and a male-directed world, so integrating the feminine and masculine ways that you use your energy. And she is definitely the lord of her own domain in the sense of she uses her energy effectively and by her own standards. So looking at how you're using your energy and using that to get you through all of this mental stuff that's going to be coming up for you, group number 1. What is the back of the deck energy here for you? The background context being evoked for you, group number 1, we have the 7 of Wands. Yep. Yeah, this is a hugely synchronistic reading for you, group number 1. The imagery here of the 7 is, we've got this man here who's trying to fight his energy with his mind, right? So the swords are about the mind, the wands are about energy, fire, willpower, but also spirit. So this is a losing battle to try to fight spirit. You know, the universe knows more than you do. So don't try to fight back with your mind. 7 is also in the minor arcana about desires. So how are your desires of your spirit? How are your desires of your will and your fire being evoked? And you're supporting this sort of background energy is supporting you in directing that to let go of this control through your mind and really step into your greater power. What are some words of wisdom from the flowers that we have for you, group number 1? We have Camellia, peace. Be calm and calm will come. Yep, so trust this space of calm that you're being called to. And give yourself that space to come back to calm. It will show you the way. You're in a space where you are being that mental observer, so sit with it. Trust it. We have geranium, virility. Shake it up a little. You've got this. Yeah, so virility, that could be tapping into this pentacles energy here of, productivity, but also, don't be afraid to, this is something very particular, when you have stuck energy, one thing that you can do, this is something I learned through Reiki, is you can actually just shake it out, literally just do something to shake it up, get yourself directed in another direction. It could be hitting a pillow, it could be literally just shaking your hands, just shake it out, something that just redirects your energy completely. That can help a lot. So if you're feeling stuck, especially if you're sitting in this space where you are taking that time to meditate in calm and it's really feeling like gook, just I can't get past this thought, it could be helpful to just stand up and literally shake your whole body for a couple seconds. See how that makes you feel. It can do wonders to just do that little bit of a reset to get you past that block. Or at least get you someplace where you don't see that you need to go straight through it, but you can just pivot around it. It won't be a block for you anymore because there's another path. We have cyclamen, resignation. Say goodbye to what you no longer need. So yeah, if this is bringing up things for you that aren't serving you, so with this Tower, don't try to hang on to it. Resign yourself to allowing that to come to pass, because if things are leaving you, it's not because, you know, you're being abandoned. It's because those are the things that no longer serve you anymore. They're not with you anymore because they're not for you anymore. This could be things, it could be people, this could be identities, these could be beliefs, probably beliefs with this Jupiter energy. So yeah, just be kind with yourself and let these things happen in a way that you don't have to control the wheel. You don't have to be driving the car. You don't have to be steering. You can just come along for the ride and let the universe take you where you need to go. And finally, we have the words of healing wisdom for you, group number 1. It's beautiful, colorful smoke, looks like candy floss, cotton candy. We have, take time to tune into your body and recognize the messages it's sending to you. Yep. So this is going to be a big week for you to do meditation, and especially paying attention. This could be a cue that you may be getting some clairsentience as well. If that's something that resonates for you. If there's some gifts of spirit being brought forth for you this week, could be that your clairsentience is stepping up, along with this clairvoyance or claircognizance in the third eye and crown energy here. And with all of the swords energy in this reading, you probably have quite a lot of claircognizance already, group number 1. So tuning into the messages of your body, tuning into the earthy energy around you, and letting that speak to you. And just letting it speak. You don't have to attach anything to it. You don't have to evaluate it. Just listen. Just listen. All right, those are the messages that we have for you, group number 1. I do hope that this resonated for you in some way. I would love to hear about your impressions of this particular reading. What does this bring up for you? What do you think this is about? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, you might like to give it a like. And if it really hit your vibe, you might also like to hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel continue to grow. I'd love for you to be a part of this growing family as the continuing evolution of this channel emerges. Love to have you along for the ride. So do please consider joining in with that subscribe button. And thank you again so much, group number 1, for letting me be your guide through this reading. I hope to see you again very soon. And until then, we'll go ahead and move on to group number 2. Okay, group number 2. What messages do we have for you, group number 2, about the week ahead and how you can best step forward to meet it? Group number 2. How are you showing up in the next week? What's the energy that supports you? Or how are you emerging to yourself? What's the sort of status of yourself in the next week, group number 2? We have the High Priestess in reverse. All right, this came up in reverse in the collective reading. So you are in a space, the High Priestess is being all about that moon energy. Something's coming up for you with this lunar eclipse, very likely, or the lunar eclipse that happened at the beginning of 2020. If you're receiving this reading outside of the time when it's being offered, these lunar eclipses are still active for many months afterwards. It depends on how it falls in your house, how it falls in your chart. So do have a look at that. The High Priestess, she's all about bringing the unseen into the light. She's all about sitting into that esoteric space. She's that space between the dualities, the yin and the yang, as I said in the collective reading. And coming up in reverse, you are really being asked to integrate your own subconscious. If you're group number 2. Group number 2, your subconscious is really prevalent this week. It's bubbling up more than probably you find comfortable. And that is something that you're being asked to, you're in a space where you're stepping into that. Coming up in reverse, it's to do with your internal processes, and it could also be indicating that you're a little reluctant about it. You're not quite ready to completely step into this yet. Group number 2. So what are the lessons that you're being asked to integrate in the upcoming week, group number 2? We have the 5 of Pentacles. All right, so the 5 of Pentacles, the traditional Rider-Waite reading, is about perceptions of scarcity. In this card, it's more about possibly shallow fame. So I've at times had this come up as stepping up into the limelight. So with this space of your subconscious stepping forward, you're being asked to let that come up into the forefront, let it come up into your active awareness. And again, if this is something that's to do with your perceptions of physical abundance, or whether or not you have enough time, whether you have enough energy, whether you are enough, really more deep, like the Pentacles energy, that's, the earth. Earth is connected with the Muladhara, the root chakra. That's all about I am, the security. Like, am I secure? Am I enough? Yes, you are. That's the lesson that's coming up for you. So releasing scarcity, or dealing with those feelings of scarcity that might be coming up for you in the subconscious. Or again, with this energy of this particular card, shallow fame, if you're spending too much time in social comparisons, especially if you're looking a lot at like social media, Facebook, Instagram, those are curated. Those images that we get of other people are snapshots of polished highlights. They're not all of the truth. So the road to the Buddha said that attachment is the source of all suffering. I would level that up and say that social comparisons are the root of all suffering. Don't compare yourself to others. We are each on a unique path. So allow yourself to be on your path this week. That's the potential challenge and lesson that you're being asked to integrate this week, group number 2. Group number 2, what are the unseen forces that are active around you right now? We have the 9 of chalices. All right, so emotionally, you are in a space where you're leveling up in your emotions, and things are going very well for you. This is a very positive card in general. We have 9s in the minor arcana are all about the collective conscious. So what are the emotions that are coming up in the community around you? Also, how are you tapping into your community with this green energy and the blue energy here? How are you speaking your truth with compassion? How are you expressing your emotions in a way that honors your heart? We also have, with this imagery of the 9 of Cups, we have this well-dressed man admiring this collection of emotional intelligence that he's got here. So this is also a reminder to not hoard your emotions. Don't be sort of like stingy with your emotions, but be generous in the way that you express them, and be aware of the abundance of emotional support you have. Finally, the outcomes that you might expect on your current trajectory for the week, group number 2, we have the Knave of Wands. This one I believe also came up in the collective reading, but in reverse. It's coming up upright. You can expect a new direction in how you're using your energy through all of this. So the stuff that's bubbling up through the subconscious, this perception of lack, or maybe of not being good enough, of not being enough, stepping into it through looking at your emotional abundance, the goodness in your emotional life that's already here, will take you in this new direction with the way that you are using your energy. And using your spirit. The fire in the Wands card is also relevant to spirit. What are some bits of advice that we can offer you, group number 2, for how you can best step up into the next week? First, how can you put your best put your best foot forward for the next week? We have the 3 of Pentacles. So more earthy energy here for you. And with this card, this is all about creativity. So creativity is one of the fastest ways that we can tap into spirit. With this, it might be that painting would be a really nice way for you to connect, coming up with this High Priestess in reverse, this subconscious action, painting what's coming up for you, expressing the things that are bubbling up for you through painting or through other visual arts, even through singing, dancing, writing, anything that's letting those creative juices flow. And with the blue in this energy again, blue here, speaking your truth, doing so in a way that's really authentic, and being authentic openly can be scary. So bringing that inner authenticity that maybe you've been afraid to express to other people, trusting yourself to do so. You're supported. The best way that you can do this right now is speak that truth of what's authentically coming up for you, and trusting yourself to be good enough to be able to do this. What are some ways that you can integrate the lessons, further clarifications on the lessons coming up for you in the week? Group number 2, we have the Death card. Transformation. So the Death card is another one of those scary cards in the deck. There's a lot of that transformative energy coming up in the week with this Pluto-Saturn conjunction. So Pluto is the card that rules Scorpio. Scorpio is the card that rules this, is the energy that rules this card. So Death is ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is currently conjuncting with Saturn. So huge amounts of transformation that you need to embrace. Don't be afraid of this change. Death is, if you looked into the collective conscious reading, I mentioned the movie The Fountain. Beautiful film, one of my favorites. Death is the road to awe. Death is not a thing that we need to be afraid of. Death is just shifting form. Energy never leaves, it only transmutes. It only changes its form. So your energy is changing its form this week. Embrace that. And be brave in allowing the changes to come. Yeah. And again, with the Scorpio energy that's possibly coming up through the subconscious with this Empress card. Or sorry, not Empress, High Priestess. And what are some unseen energies that you can tap into? What can you call upon in this week to really support you through getting through the lessons and blessings of this week? We have the King of Wands. So really being the master of your domain and how you use your energy, being very judicious about how you use your energy in a very agentic way. So being less passive or less receptive about how your energy is being directed, and really being, that fatherly energy in your own life, in the way that you're using your energy, using your spirit. And finally, what is the best advice that we can offer to you, group number 2, for how to get through this upcoming week and sort of step forward with your best foot forward? We have the Knave of Pentacles in reverse. So interesting, new directions, all about this new step coming forward. So the Knave of Pentacles, you have this image of this man who's sort of squatting on this wall. Looks like he's about ready to jump into the future, and he's got this pentacle here. Looks like he's about to throw it at us like a frisbee. So lots of sort of like just about ready to spring into action. Coming up in reverse, this could be that there is, along with this new direction in your energy, the best advice we can give to you is to allow this sort of inward spring to push you forward. So grounding that sort of push of, if this is a new energy, a push of new energy, letting that be grounded into your inner being first. And if there's this new direction that's also going to be coming in your physical life, allow that to happen in its own time. Don't try to push it before it's ready. All right, what is the background energy, the back of the deck energy for you, group number 2? We have the Nine of Wands. Yep. So the Nine of Wands, this is all about you've gone through the ringer, you've come through the forest, and you got a few bumps, a few bruises, but you're still ready to continue on. So that's all about continuing to keep going, even though the challenges haven't stopped. You're still ready to keep meeting them every time. In this particular card, we've got the imagery of this woman dressed in white, looking towards the background, looking towards the past, with a sort of a wistful, she looks kind of melancholy, thinking back maybe with nostalgia. But the white imagery here, with the blue and the green, so speaking your truth with compassion, with love, but also we get a lot of sort of purification energy. So that in yoga and the yamas and niyamas, that reminds me of the niyama of stocha, or purity. So being very mindful of your thoughts, being very mindful of what you put into your body, being very mindful of what you tolerate, what you allow, what you invite into your physical reality. All of these things could just be tidying your house, could be noticing when you give yourself a negative self-talk. All of those things will help to clarify the energy around you, to let this renewal of your energy come through. What are the words of wisdom from the flowers for you, group number 2? We have sweet Alyssum. Excuse me. Sweet Alyssum. Clarity. Bright paths of understanding will open. Yep. So if this is stuff that's bubbling up from the subconscious, it might not look very clear. It might look, it's by the light of the moon, not by the light of the sun. So trust that the clarity is coming. And we also have stop, slow down. The pace must abate before it's too late. Yep. So that resonates with this. Don't try to push a new thing coming forth into your physical domain yet. Let it come in its own time, and do give yourself space for just being patient with yourself. Don't try to rush, don't try to run, don't try to jump. Again, he's jumping here. Don't jump just yet. We also have Stephanotis. My goodness, I'm having a hard time pronouncing for you, group number 2. So again, check that throat chakra. Stephanotis, cooperation. Take the hand offered or ask. It's definitely, some challenging things, this big transformation coming up for you, group number 2. Don't be afraid to sing out for help. Sing out to your spirit teams, sing out to, again, this emotional well-being, this abundance of emotional support that you already have. Step into that, and don't be afraid to, if someone asks you if you would like support, take it. Take it if you want it, like you're okay. You don't need to do this alone. Our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 2. We have seek to enlarge your appreciation of the beauty of nature, animals, and humans. Yep. So this could be an indication that just taking the time to sit in appreciation of the things that already exist and really spending time in nature will be a great way to help get those creative juices flowing and let go of blockages that might be coming up. All right, this is what I have for you, group number 2. Group number 2, I'd love to hear more about how this sat with you, group number 2. Please let me know in the comments below what this reminds you of, what you think this might be referring to, what your impressions of this reading were. If you like this video, you might like to give it a like, and if it really hit your vibe, you might also like to give us a subscribe, be a part of the growing community around this channel, and be a part of how it continues to evolve. Thank you so much, group number 2. Moving on to group number 3. Okay, group number 3. Group number 3, what are the energies coming for you in the upcoming week, and how can you meet it with your best step forward, best foot forward? So first, group number 3, how are you showing up in the next week? What is the sort of energy of the way that your being is in the next week? We have the Knight of Chalices. So you are really taking action with your emotions. So whatever's coming up with this Cancer full moon, maybe you're finding this message around the Cancer new moon. Could be that too. Energies of the emotions, energies of, with the particular imagery of this card, the Knight of Cups is the romantic of the knights. He's very active and, he believes in the good things in life. But with this particular imagery, this reminds me lots more of that Scorpio energy. So a lot of what's coming up in the collective right now with this Saturn-Pluto conjunction is to do with bringing up the subconscious, bringing up the hidden, bringing up the things that Scorpio loves, right? So this could be that you're in that space of bringing your emotions and that Scorpio energy into active service for yourself in this week. Group number 3. Group number 3. Group number 3, what are the lessons you're being asked to integrate in the upcoming week? We have the 2 of Swords in reverse. So 2 of Swords upright, all about internal balance. The 2s in the minor arcana are all about finding that first sort of point of balance. Also about the aces are everything that's not even to the point of being in the subconscious. It's so far up into the higher realms. It's just starting to be putting it into the sort of manifestation pipeline. So this is the next step. So it's just about ready to be moving along to becoming an actual physical thing. So something the way that you're using the moon at this time, or using the mental energies, could be to whatever your moon is in your chart, bringing that up into balance, coming up in reverse. The challenge here is internal balance, or how you use your mental energy to release some defensive-ness that you might have. So the Rider-Waite depiction of this card is with the swords crossed. So that could be that you're really using your mind to be defensive or be like overly gripping on plans, things like that. So bringing that mental energy into alignment for yourself as you're diving into this, sort of bringing Scorpio into alignment for you. We have some advice for you, group number 3, on the energies surrounding you right now. What is sort of the stuff in the context it's bringing up for you. We have the world upright. So this also came up in the collective reading, but came up in reverse. Card ruled by Saturn. So Saturn with this unseen energy that's bringing it forth, coming up from the subconscious, coming up from things that you thought you had left in the past, but you didn't fully integrate it, and so it's coming back. It might feel like it's haunting you. It's not haunting you. It's here to be leveled up. The 21 here is all about stepping into the next phase, stepping into the next cycle, being mature, maturing out of those things that you didn't learn before, because those are coming up here for you to really, you got it this time. I'm reminded of the some of the imagery from, I think it's the second Matrix, in this scene with the architect. And the architect is telling Neo about the 6 other times that he had confronted the architect to bring down the Matrix. And at each of the 6 times, Neo has been given this choice. You can take the easy way out and reset the Matrix, because the architect has Neo's true love, Trinity, imprisoned and is going to kill her. So Neo can choose the safe route, which is to, listen to the demands of this terrorist, basically this person who's got his love hostage. Listen to the hostage demands by capitulating, giving in, resetting the Matrix, and doing it all over again. Or the harder, scarier option is to put all of humanity at risk, put Trinity at risk, choose love, and choose to save her rather than choose to reset the world. So 6 other times, Neo chose the reset button that was safe. This time, the 7th time, he chooses differently. So this coming up for you here, you're being supported in choosing differently this time. Maturing, leveling out of that cycle. By bringing all of the elements in, these elements out in the 4 corners are the 4 elements of the suits. So your mind, your body, your energy, and your emotions, all aligning to help you get past this. And the outcome that you can expect on your current trajectory, group number 3, we have the Emperor. This is all about, it was ruled by Aries, all about taking charge, pulling forth, shooting forth, and this, he's got a lot of authority. So being the authority in your own life, being your own authority, trusting your own authority rather than diverting to the Hierophant, which is the next suit up, the next card up. Being your own emperor, being the boss of your own life. So what are some advice we can give to you, group number 3? What's some of the advice we can give to you about how you can step forward to meet this week with your best foot forward? So how can you best step into this next week, group number 3? We have the 8 of Chalices in reverse. So again, a lot of this dark energy here. So could be that the feeling around you is that, again, a lot of stuff that's been in the shadows is being revealed. It might be things that are painful. It could be feelings that sparked you into a sense of being in a long dark night. But the 8 of Cups is all about leaving that behind, coming up in reverse. This could be an indication that you are getting a shift in your perspective on something that wasn't serving you, or maybe you're being able to identify that thing that isn't serving you. Coming up under this Knight of Chalices, this romantic, but romantic in a way that could be sparking more of that Scorpio energy with the imagery of this card. Or taking an internal look to the things that internally you can step away from. What are some additional layers of this lesson coming up for you, group number 3, and how can you best integrate it? We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So the Ace of Swords, this is that spiritual root of all of the air signs. So all of that air sign energy, that would be Gemini, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So it could be an indication that someone with a lot of that energy present in their chart or in their personality is coming forth and being an important part of how you're learning this lesson. Coming up in reverse, this could be indicating that you need to embody those traits, and I would especially go for more of that Aquarius energy, sparking a new direction in the way that you're calling upon the energy of Aquarius, which is all about revolution, all about complete change. We're stepping into the age of Aquarius, and we have it's either Neptune or Uranus coming in out of retrograde into bringing into this Aquarius energy, this revolutionary energy. So that's another way that you can integrate bringing this internal balance to yourself, is stepping into that revolutionary spirit with your mind, allowing your mind internally to take this new phase, this new thing that you haven't really accepted yet. This feels like a revolution to you, or a revelation to you, and allowing that to come forth and really embracing it. What are some of the unseen energies, things that you haven't really directed your attention to yet, that you can bring to your attention, you can call upon to support you in the upcoming week? Group number 3, we have 10 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so again, with this dark energy, 10 of Swords is the minor arcana version of sort of like the feeling of the Tower. So the Tower is sudden catastrophic change, and the Tower also came up for group number 1, so you might want to have a look at group number 1's reading. That might also resonate for you. The 10 of Swords is all about that feeling that you get of, also reminds me of ego death. So letting go of those parts of the ego that keep you safe but keep you small, those doubts, those things that worry about the past and the future, those things that niggle you, that argue you against using all of your power. Coming up in reverse, the way that you can be supported in coming through this week is invoking an ego death, taking steps towards allowing that part of your ego that's not serving you anymore to fall away, and being aware that you're going to step away from this thing that's not serving you anymore. That will cause change, and that change can feel very Scorpio, feel very subconscious, feel very deep. So just knowing that you can be the authority, you can be the boss in leveling up and getting past this cycle. And finally, some advice we can offer to you for the best way that you can step forward into this upcoming week. Group number 3, we have the Knave of Chalices. So this one also came up in the collective, but reversed. So it's coming up upright for you as your advice card. So really taking that step of new direction in how you're using your emotions, leveling up with that energy of being the boss of how you're using your emotions, and making sure that you are filling up that cup, making sure that you are nourishing yourself, looking to the future, but also being future oriented with the way that he's pointing his body. He's sort of like leaning towards the future, but he's looking in the present. So stay present, stay grounded, stay now, but do so in a way that's not trying to invoke a recapitulation or a repeat of this cycle, but letting yourself step into the new cycle. The background energy, the back of the deck energy supporting you, group number 3, we have the 2 of Wands. So the 2 of Wands, there's a lot of 2 energy throughout this entire time. I've been seeing 222 a lot lately. So you might also be getting a lot of 222. There's 2020, right? So we got the 22. 2 is all about setting up a new foundation, setting up that new step, as I was saying with this 2 of Swords. Just beginning to bring something new into manifestation. And your energy here with the 2 of Wands, and in the background, planning. The 2 of Wands is a card that's all about planning, and the imagery here, we've got this man looking into this orb, looking towards the past, but looking at the reflection of the future. By gazing into the past, you don't see it clearly, you see it only reflected, but you can see the reflections of what the future might be by looking to the past. So taking that dive into the subconscious and seeing sort of what are the possibilities that lay before you. That's the energy, the background energy here of like, what can we plan into existence? What can we use as our leading vision, rather than just seeing the observed reality, looking to see, sort of divine out what we can do better, what we can do differently this time. What are the words of wisdom from the flowers for you, group number 3? We have belladonna, silence. Listen more and quiet be. Yeah, so really listening in to whatever's coming up for you in this week. sitting in silence, sitting in meditation, taking time to turn off the news. For goodness sake, turn off the news if it's stressing you out. If you can't control it, why are you bogging yourself down with it? Turn off the sound. Turn off the chatter. Come into quiet. That's where your inner knowing can step forward and can lead you to where you need to be. We also have zinnia, absence. What is not here is key. So those things that are leaving you, those things that are stepping away, maybe feeling like some catastrophic changes. Notice what isn't. This is also speaking to me of what's not here. That reminds me of, in yoga philosophy, that sort of neti-niti, the not this and not that, the ego death here. So when you peel away all those layers of your ego, all those layers of your identity, what is left? That thing that is left, the observer that saw all of those things falling away, that's the real you. So when everything else is gone, the thing that remains, that's what really matters. Bird of paradise, self-acceptance. You are so much more. Absolutely. So this can be a very trying week for everyone. This is going to be a big week, setting up for the rest of the year, setting up for the rest of the decade. So just go gently with yourself. And you are so much more. You're so much more than you've allowed yourself to be. You're only the tip of the iceberg. The things that you have active conscious awareness of is just the tip of the iceberg of all that you really are. I mean, this might be more than some of you are currently resonating at, but the truth is we are all beings of spirit. We are all beings of light. We all have an inner light to shine. We all have a purpose in this place that we've built around us, the life that we've come into. There's a reason why we're here, and you're being invited in this leveling up. You are being more than what you have been, but it's scary because you've still got this sort of identity around who you've been. Let yourself be more than you have been. You're no longer going to be small. This is the year that you're going to be big. And accepting yourself for who you are. You might be blocking that because you don't believe that you'll be accepted. Well, the first step is for you to accept yourself. So doing that shadow work, allowing that ego to drop away. Words of healing wisdom for you, group number 3. These beautiful fairy lights. We have practice speaking positively about other people and events, and especially about the future. Huge, huge, huge healing wisdom in this card. Words are powerful. Speak things into existence. If you are speaking negativity into the existence, you will get negativity. This is a time where we are on the knife's edge. We can fall back into a cycle, or we can step out of it. And the energies at play right now, we're here to step out. We're here to step up. You're here taking this message because I am here to tell you that you're ready to step up. You're ready for the positivity that's coming into your life. All you need to do is let it come. And the best way that you can start doing that today is to practice positive speaking. So not just this sort of like light washing in the sense of like forcing yourself to only see the silver lining. It's very helpful to focus on finding it, but don't do so in a way that also denies the negativity. Every moment is complete. There is positivity and negativity in every moment. You don't need to make the best of the situation. The situation is already complete. You just need to be your best in it. So speaking that positivity, if you're taking joy in other people's suffering, that's going to come back to you. This is a week where what we do is really coming back to us. So be very mindful of how you're showing up. Letting that subconscious really bubble up and let go of that ego. So again, with these cards coming up in reverse, this could be an indication that this is what you're being called to, but it's going to be a big challenge for you this week, group number 3. But you're here because you're ready. That's what I have for you this week, group number 3. So please let me know in the comments below, how does this resonate for you? I will try to put that quote into the post notification because it's really powerful, hugely, it gives me chills when I think about it. Let me know in the comments below how this reading sat for you, what sort of came up for you, what were your impressions. If you like this video, maybe give it a like, and if it really hit your vibe, you might also like to hit subscribe, be a part of this growing community so that we can all be a part of how this channel continues to evolve, how the messages continue to come forth. And I look forward very much to seeing you again soon, group number 3. Until then, as always, go in peace to love and to serve. Namaste.